are live. Welcome in, ladies. Welcome in. Who is joining me live today? Oh, I'm so excited for today's topic, guys. I'm so excited. Oh my goodness, this is one of my favorite topics to teach. Okay, but before I go into it, let me introduce myself. So welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. I missed you guys. I have been busy putting together a couple of things for you guys. I'm gonna announce it later today. But today we're going to be talking about how to control your emotions and how to raise your emotional intelligence and actually reduce your stress and build your influence at work. So many women tell me on a daily basis that they're being viewed as they're too emotional. People see them as they can't control their emotions. They don't take them seriously. People tend to walk on eggshells around them, or they feel like they have to walk on eggshells because people don't take them seriously. If they say something, people are going to take it like they're too aggressive, right? If they don't speak up, they're going to say they're not assertive enough. It's like women cannot win. At least that's what they tell me. So today we're going to be talking about how do you build emotional intelligence such that when you are in the presence, when you are at work or even your personal life, because everything that I'm going to teach you today is going to be able to, you can use it in your personal life. So how do you carry yourself? Like, you become the kind of woman that knows how to manage her emotions without actually coming across as aggressive, passive, what are the words? Doormat, stoic, overwhelmed. I can keep naming it on and on and on. These are some of the labels that are put on women that have not demonstrated their ability to manage their emotions. The aggressive one is so sad because usually when women are labeled aggressive, they then start to overcompensate for that by becoming quiet and then passive and then disengaged, and then they leave. That's usually the cycle that it takes. And we don't want women to be quiet. Well, let me rephrase that. We don't want women to be afraid to speak their mind because they come with a different perspective. You guys are so, I can see here and eulogize about women all along, but you come with a different perspective that everyone needs to hear. But you need to be able to present your perspective in a way that people can receive it because they trust in you. They trust that you're credible. They trust that you're thinking clearly and you're not just allowing yourself to speak only from your emotions. There's nothing wrong with that. I'll talk a little bit about why that tends to cloud people's judgment when you're talking to them only from there, okay? So before we go into today's details, welcome in again, ladies. If you're joining me live, put team live in the chat. If you're watching the replay, put team replay. Why does it feel like I'm hearing an echo? Okay. You guys let me know if you're hearing an echo, okay? All right. So if this is the first time that you're seeing me or hearing me, my name is Abby, and I am a life coach. Okay, so I specialize in helping women in the workplace manage stress, avoid being overwhelmed, overcome burnout, and have the energy, time, peace, money to be able to live the life that they want. Okay, one of the barriers that I see, I went through this, but one of the barriers that I see is women's inability to be able to manage their emotions. So I'm going to talk a little bit about why is this important. Excuse me, you guys. Okay, why is this? Ooh. Okay. All right, I'm not sure what's going on, but I'll just take a sip of water and we'll continue. I love when this occurs when I'm live. It's like, I'm live, this happens. It's so cool. You guys give me a second, let me take a sip and then we'll continue. Okay, so we're going to talk about why is this important, especially if you're someone who's building your career and you want to continue to move ahead. Why is emotional intelligence important beyond what you already know? Why is this important? That I'm going to show you some of the steps that you can take to start the process of being able to manage your emotions so that people can start to trust you where you are, and then they can start to offer you opportunities that can take you up in your career, and then you can earn more money and more time and more peace too. Okay, so first things first, like what is really emotional intelligence? Like, what is that about? I feel like you guys just give me a second here. I think the air is a little dry where I am right now. So what is emotional intelligence? Basically, it's your ability to remain emotionally current. What does that mean? That means that you are always present. You're always emotionally present. You are always in a state where you are not thinking or feeling things that have happened in the past, and you're using that to make judgments in your present moment. Okay, your ability to be able to manage and control your emotions deeply lies in your ability to release and let go of situations that cause you to either feel traumatic or situations that cause you to feel stressed out. Okay, so when we talk about emotional intelligence in the context of women who are in the workplace or even in your personal life, what are some of the dangers that, or the negative things that can happen if you don't learn how to manage your emotions? Before I tell you negative things, I just want to tell you where I'm coming from. So I used to be that woman that will have emotional outbursts. Like, I would be in meetings at work, somebody would say something that would trigger me, and all of a sudden I would just be like, like my voice, it was like yelling, and I was speaking very fast, and I was speaking in a very condescending manner. And when I'm done with that, after the meeting, I would just be like, gosh, why did I do that? Like, why did I do that? And I noticed that this will happen when I'm very stressed out. When they've given me so much to do that I feel really boxed in a corner, I noticed that I was much more likely to be triggered by certain things that people would say. Like, I remember there was one day I was in a meeting, something so trivial was happening. I can't even say it out because the thing is it's so embarrassing that I cannot believe that that thing triggered me right now. You guys, I haven't reached a place where I can say it publicly. But what I would just say that it was so trivial, so trivial. Right now I'm like, are you kidding me? And after that meeting, that's when I knew I had a problem. That's when I knew that this isn't normal. I also noticed that the more annoyed and irritated that I would feel, the higher for me to be able to have those outbursts. So it was almost like me feeling very stressed out will cause me to feel so annoyed, so irritated with everything around me. And then when I would get into high profile situations, I would just be lashing out and just behaving badly, like really behaving badly. I still remember several high profile meetings with my superiors. They were in the meeting with all the superiors from other departments, and this person said something, and then they asked me a question, and I can tell you guys what I said for this one. Do you know what I said? Well, why am I here? Why am I here? This person could have done this. Why am I even in this meeting? And I was just like, as I was saying it, I was just like, oh my gosh, Amy, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's how I was after the meeting. And I just sat there and I was just like, what happened to me? And let me give you guys context into why I was saying, well, why am I in this meeting? Because I was so stressed out And my management was, they would take me to meetings with other departments so that I could, provide context. Just for the nature of the work that I do, is provide context, or if they needed someone to answer specialist questions, right? You guys know I work in tech. That's my industry. And so I would be on these meetings to answer questions related to my role, which was very specialized. And in this particular context, because I was so stressed out, in this meeting, I was already like, why are they bringing me to this meeting? Why am I here, right? That was what I was saying internally. And so when the person then asked the question, that was the first thing that came out of my mind. I was like, anybody could answer this. Why am I in this meeting? Why am I here? And I remember the specific incident because some of the things that I'm going to tell you ladies today, you might think is actually happening in private. I promise you it's going to show up in public. I promise you. When you least expect it, I promise you. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to God that, I was surrounded by people that cared about me at work. And so they could recognize that, maybe you need to take a break. Like there's something going on, right? And I was also so grateful that when those incidents happened, I took a step back on myself and I knew, because I felt very bad. I knew that it was a problem and I was like, what's going on with you, baby? What's going on? So I say this to say, one of the very first things that can happen when you're the kind of woman that cannot control your emotions is that you will start to lose opportunities. You will start to lose opportunities because what will happen is that the people that are supposed to empower you, they're not going to be able to trust you because they take you to situations where it's high stakes for them and you come in there, it's like someone that cannot manage their or control their emotions. You can't control what you say. You're going to embarrass them and it's going to look bad on them. So why would they promote you? Why would they give you opportunities? They won't. And what usually happens is that many women would tell me that they're being targeted. They'll tell me that, AB, nobody wants to promote me. They're shutting me out. But if I haven't been like that, I would have said, oh yeah, they're targeting women. They're targeting women. But when we take a step back and see, like, how are you showing up? For me, I was showing up very badly. And I see that across many women too. So this is the very first thing. It will cut short your opportunities. And if you're not even, how do I put this? Because this is the second consequence. If you don't stop yourself, if you don't learn this, you will be losing jobs like this. People will be firing you like this. Because the behavior is not acceptable. It's not professional. Okay? Especially if you've worked hard to get it. If you work hard to get it, this is a skill. It goes beyond your technical background. Because I remember one of the excuses I used to have before I had that moment that I just shared with you guys. I would say, well, I have the technical background. I can do this. I have the certification, that certification. Like anybody cares about that when you're disrespectful to people. Nobody cares your certification if you cannot talk to people. Nobody cares how much you know if you're condescending when you're talking to them. Nobody cares how much you know if you're breaking relationships and embarrassing your superiors. They don't care. And if you're a leader who's watching this, if you're a woman in a leadership role, and you're the one that's embarrassing your team and embarrassing your own superiors, the consequences for you are ×2 or ×3. So it can really add up, ladies. It can really add up. The second thing is, for me, I noticed that my health was being affected. How? So what will happen is I will be stuck in a cycle of negativity, of negative emotions. And of course, when I have this outburst, I'll then go back and sit with myself, start to judge myself, start to condemn myself. Why did you do this, AB? You could have done better. And then that starts to feed into a cycle of negativity. What happens when you literally live in a cycle of negativity? You start to get stressed out. Well, I was already stressed out. But you start to get stressed out and you continue to live in a state of stress, which then, of course, affects everything else in your life. Your health, your well-being, your peace, your love, everything. Everything. So this is very important because some people don't understand the link between being able to manage your emotions and good health. They don't understand that they're linked. When negative emotions are trapped in you, it can actually lead to diseases. Yes. It can lead to ill health. Yes. It can lead to sickness. Yes. Everything starts here. Everything starts here. And if you don't understand how to release those emotions, that's when you're going to start seeing problems in your physical health. And of course, your mental health will go down too as well. Okay? The third one, this one is very sad because it cannot be quantified. It's not something that you can put a figure amount, but it's something that many women are struggling with right now. What is that? When you're the kind of woman that cannot control her emotions, you will feel very lonely. I promise you. You will feel like nobody likes you. You feel like you have no friends, no family. You feel like nobody wants you around. And the reason why you feel that way is because your outbursts and your inability to manage yourself destroys connection. We build connection when there's a mutual trust between you and the other person. Each time you are having these outbursts, whether it's what you say, whether it's what you do, you're breaking that trust. Think of good emotional health like a bank. And each dynamics that we have in our life, whether that's with our employers, whether that's with our husbands or our partners, whether that's with our children, you have what we call an emotional intimacy bank. Each time you lash out, have outbursts, you're withdrawing from the bank. Think of it that way. Anytime you do something where your emotions are out of control, you're withdrawing from that bank every time. And it's going to get to a point it's going to be deficit and there's nothing there. And that's where people start to cut you off. They won't even talk to you, just cut you off. That's when people stop inviting you to meetings. That's when people stop including you in groups. That's when your friends and family stop calling you because you've become this emotional wreck and nobody feels comfortable being around you. And they don't want to spend time with you. They don't want your energy. And you become labeled as aggressive, crazy, nutcase, lunatic. I can go on and on. Uncontrollable, disrespectful. You get those labels, which in turn, you internalize and the cycle continues. Many women have destroyed their relationships with their children because of this. Because of this. So this is a very important skill, especially for women, because we are so connected in our lives that if we destroy one relationship, there's a very high chance that it's going to destroy the other relationship just because of the way a woman operates. All right? Okay. I hope you guys heard that, because for me, I had to learn these lessons the very hard way. Very, very hard way. I'm just so happy that I woke up and I've started I've been amending my ways for a while, and I've started building those connections. But for a very long time in my life, this was my reality. Like I was stuck in this reality. And the problem with being stuck in this reality is that you don't know until somebody points it out to you, like what I'm doing right now, or in my own case, something happens physically to you that you wake up and you're like, what's going on with my life? Okay? All right. So how do you start to manage your emotions? How do you start to become the kind of woman that can control her emotions? So the very first, before I give you guys the very first step, I want to give you a story. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm about to share this. Wait, let me think about it first. Maybe should we share this? Okay, let's do it. Okay. All right. So I remember, calm down. This happened years ago. So when I had started this work, when I started working on myself, doing my inner work and stuff like that, I was traveling and I was at the airport. So I was chatting with this woman. We just met in the airport and we were at a restaurant. Okay. So the lady, what do they call the waitress? She came in, she asked me for my order, and she asked the woman for her order. So both of us, she ordered, I ordered, and then the lady came and went and came back. The lady came back with the wrong order. So I'm looking at my food, I'm like, this is not what I ordered. The woman had her own order. And before I could say, like, this is not what I ordered, so I was looking at the food like this. I was like, this is not what I ordered. And before I could say what I was saying, the waitress goes, what you mean this is not what you ordered? I'm like, what's going on here? Like, I just, you know when you're so shocked, like you're just, what's going on here? Like, what did I say? And she's like, no, this was what you ordered. And like, I was so shocked. But I think in that moment, the outburst, the whole thing, the way it all happened was so, it was like I was in a trance. And while I was in that trance, the woman that was sitting right next to me said, wait a minute, I heard what she ordered. This is totally not what she ordered. And the lady that was shouting there, I was just quiet like this. Like, this is what I was doing. Like, I was trying not to laugh because I'm like, what's going on here? And the lady's like, no, I was here. I heard her. And even when she said it, I was like, ooh, that's a very healthy option. That's how I remember what she ordered. And the lady that was shouting eventually calmed down. She was like, okay, that there's the one that I ordered is like the last one. And she doesn't want what she sent me to waste and stuff like that. And so she said, okay, what can she do? I'm sitting there just like this. And the other lady is speaking for me. And she's like, Avi, like, what do you want to have? And I'm like, if you don't have the option, that's okay. And she starts apologizing. And the reason why I was hesitant to share this story with you guys is because if that was me years ago before that lady, there's no way, there's absolutely no way that lady will be talking to me. Because as soon as she did what she did, I would be like, are you talking to me? And then you start seeing two women yelling at each other and people are staring. Yes, that's the kind of person I used to be years ago before that happened. And I think as I was in that trance, I was just like thanking God. And it's just like, this lady is so lucky that I'm the kind of woman that I am today. The one that can actually laugh and smile through an altercation like that. Yes. So I say this to say, you guys are going to find situations where it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's just happened. But the tools that I'm going to give you, and I'm also going to tell you why in that moment I was taken aback and calm and I didn't react. I'm going to tell you why. But the tools that I'm going to give you will help you manage yourself in those moments where it's not your fault. You haven't done anything wrong, but the people that are around you, they're so triggered that you could sneeze, they'll be triggered. You could laugh, they'll just get, from 0 to 100. So you will find a lot of those situations, especially as you continue to do this work. Okay, so I wanted to warn you guys, because sometimes women write me, Avi, I've done all of these things, people are still that, and I say, hey, it's not your fault. Just do your own part. That's it. That's your work. Do your part and make sure that you're doing your own, you're taking care of your own health, and leave the rest. Natural consequences will take care of the rest. Okay? All right, let's get to the first thing. Identify your triggers. So what are the situations, events, things, thoughts, ideas, people that cause you to feel triggered? Start to identify them. If you notice that there's certain kinds of people that cause you to feel triggered, start to become aware of that. What is it about them? What is it about the situation? Is it how they're saying the thing? Is it what they're saying? Is it their personality that just puts you off? You can be honest. You can be honest. Like I remember, back in the days, there was someone that I used to work with. Their personality used to just get me off. Like, that's not what I meant to say was get TikTok. Yeah. Get TikTok. And what was it about their personality? I think it was the way that they acted. They always acted in a way that used to trigger me. And so I noticed that even when they say normal things, I would start to feel triggered. They didn't even do anything. I'm already starting to feel triggered. Why? It's because of the way that they're saying the thing. It just didn't align. And the truth is, in that time, for me, the way that they were saying appeared very condescending. And so even when they're saying, AB, do you want to go get ice cream? It would sound like, AB, do you want ice cream? Are you sure you want ice cream? You know, that kind of thing. And so I started to notice, like, what is it? What is it about it? Why am I getting triggered? And then I did my inner work. But before we get to that point, you need to know the things that cause you to feel triggered. People, things, saying, events. It could be a lot of things. Women would tell me that they will watch channels on YouTube or on social media talking trash about women. They'll sit down there and watch it. They'll comment, then they'll put comments in there. And then they'll come and watch my video and come tell me that, AB, I'm doing all of these things and it's not working. And I'm like, how would it work? When you're sitting right there at the center seat of the things that trigger you and you're constantly revisiting it, why would it work? You're reversing the effect. So I say this to say, if there are people that you watch that are talking trash about things that you don't like, or they're speaking negatively about things in your life, stop watching them. Now, there are people that may speak certain things in your life, but they're not speaking negatively. They're actually speaking positively, but it's triggering you because you feel guilty. I used to be in those shoes. I used to turn off feminine energy videos because it would trigger me a lot. My life has really changed. Oh my God. Let's put that aside. It's just such an irony right now. But those kinds of channels used to trigger me. But I didn't turn those ones off because there was a deeper part of me that wanted to heal my femininity. So you can leave those ones. My video is one of them. If my video triggers you, I don't talk negatively about things, you can leave that. But for the ones that are degrading women or saying nonsense about women, why are you watching it? I don't understand. Women will say, well, we need to call them out. Why? Anytime you feed your comments, anytime you put comments in there, you're actually adding to the negativity. Did you know that? You are not helping anybody by commenting on negative things. Leave them there. They'll die out. If there's no attention, it'll die out eventually. Okay? All right. Let's move on to the next one. The second step, once you've identified the triggers, no judgments here, by the way. The second step is, each of these triggers, is there a way for you to remove yourself from the situation? I just gave you a good example. If one of the things that trigger you are specific channels, videos, people that speak negatively, remove yourself, stop watching it. If there are specific people in your life that are triggering you, and before I give this advice, I'm going to give a caveat here. If they're triggering you because they're stepping on your boundaries or they're encroaching your boundaries, yeah, remove yourself from the situation, okay? But please don't go on a mass, I'm going to cut you off, because I think that's a trend that we're seeing right now. Women are starting to implement boundaries, but they're implementing boundaries like walls. Boundaries are not walls, they're gates. You open for the right person, you close it for the wrong person. But this is not a boundaries video, so I don't want to get into that. But if there are this triggering situations, if you can remove yourself from them, do that. If you are at work and you notice that there's a specific coworker that causes you to feel triggered, reduce your interaction with them. Especially if you're not working with them directly, reduce your interaction with them, okay? Now, why am I telling you to do this? This is going to help you temporarily with being able to manage your emotions while you move to step 3. Because sometimes I notice that when I would work with women to manage their emotions, we'll do step 1, which is identifying the triggers. We'll do step 3, which I'm going to talk about, which is doing your inner work, but they're still in the triggering situation. So it's harder for them to actually control their emotions when the wound hasn't healed and they're in the position where the wound is being pressed on and triggered. So I found that it would take longer, and then the woman's health is going down because she's constantly worried about this person that is triggering her. So I decided to add in there a step 2 to temporarily help you manage your emotions while we start to do the long-term work. Okay? So what is step 2? Try to remove yourself from the situation as much as possible, physically, emotionally. The emotional is very important. Women will tell me that they're not, the person who triggered them is no longer there, but it's in their thoughts. They're telling their siblings about it. They're telling their husband about it. They're telling me about it. They're telling your friends. What you're just doing, the person is just taking up free real estate in your brain. They haven't paid for it. Why are you giving it to them? Remove them from your thoughts. Out of sight, out of mind. Okay? Third step, inner work. This is how you achieve emotional intelligence long term. There's a lot about how to be more emotionally intelligent, how to control your emotions, how to do this, how to do that. Did you know that one of the situations where you and I are much more likely to lose our emotional intelligence are situations where we're stressed out or situations that re-trigger traumatic events that we've experienced. This is where inner work will help you. Inner work will help you heal the wounds that have been built in you, or built is not the word, but formed in you as a result of traumatic situations. So what happens when you heal the wounds? When you heal the wounds, when you go outside and somebody's saying something, you're less likely to be triggered. What are triggers? Triggers are just, these are emotions that are coming up so that they can heal. That's it. Well, that's why triggers happen. It's to bring out the emotion that's stuck in you so that it can heal. Emotions are just energy that is moving, period. Emotions, energy in motion. So when it's stuck and it hasn't come up to heal, when you enter situations that somebody says, does, acts, it will remind you of the past where that wound was healed, and it's going to come up again to heal. And inner work helps you release that so that you can move on. I'll give you guys a good example of how inner work helps me with emotional control. So one of the, gosh, I have so many emotional wounds. Which one would be relevant? Okay, let me use the example of the airport thing. In the past, that would have triggered me like that because I think one of the wounds I used to have was my inability to speak up and people taking it for granted. Yes. Ooh, we're getting real now. We're getting real. So that used to trigger me a lot. And what will happen is that I will be quiet. Like, you'll be doing certain things to me, I'll be quiet, and then one day I just explode and people will be like, is that AD? No way. So I had that insecurity. And so that woman yelling at me in the airport because I ordered something that she didn't hear would have triggered that wound, because I would have started to feel like, is it because I'm quiet that you think you can talk to me like this? How dare you talk to me? And then we start. But there was a situation that happened prior to that where I identified that was an insecurity in me, and I healed that. That's why when I'm talking about how to speak up, how to have boundaries, where do you think those lessons are coming from? Those are my life. I'm just giving to you guys free of charge. Free lessons so that you don't have to relive those moments. But that used to be a deep insecurity for me. And so when I healed that, When somebody is talking like that to me, I'm not thinking in my brain, this person is talking to me because I'm quiet, they dare not talk to me. Is this making sense, ladies? When you're talking like that, I know it has nothing to do with me. I know that's their trauma speaking, not me. And so I'm sitting still drinking my tea and minding my business. But if I hadn't healed that wound, it would have caused me to feel triggered, and I would have started shouting or yelling at her. And at the end of the day, it's not even about her. It's about me acting from a traumatic place. Is this making sense? So that's why it's important to do your inner work. What is inner work? Inner work is where you actually now go deep in your body and start to understand what are some of the emotional wounds that you have, and you release them. This is a process that I do with my clients. I work with 50% of my work is doing inner work with women to heal those traumatic incidents that have happened so that they can start to do the things to bring down their stress level, raise your feminine energy, raise your energy levels, have boundaries. How do you think you're able to do this? You need to heal first. You need to heal first. That's why when women would tell me, AB, I tried to enforce this boundary, it didn't work, people thought I was aggressive, I asked, how did you do it? Because it's the way that you do it is so important. Two women can say something, the first woman, people listen, the other woman, nobody listens. One is speaking from a healthy place, one is speaking from a wounded place. The wounded place is very triggering to the human nervous system because stress transfers. Remember I told you guys this last week. Okay, so do your inner work and start to understand, why do you get triggered by those triggers that you identified in step one. Start to go deeper, and if you need help, this is my bread and butter. I do it every day in my life. This is what I help women with, and this is how the healing process starts in becoming the kind of woman that manages her stress, prioritizes her well-being. All of these are all mindsets, by the way. Prioritizes her well-being, heals her body, and has more energy and time and resources. That's how the process starts. Okay? Once you've done that, the next step. Now, I learned about this next step from, I think when I started coaching, I noticed that women would do their inner work and all of that stuff, and then they'll still find it hard to be able to manage their emotions in new situations. So these are new situations where, they haven't healed that wound and they get triggered, they're still finding it hard. I also noticed in my own personal life that my reaction to things I was able to control my reaction to things just because my pace in life was slower. So because of the kind of modern day life where we want things quicker, we want fast food, fast this, fast that, the pace of life has increased. When your pace is faster than normal, your response time is also faster. So one of the tricks that psychologists will tell you about managing emotions is to not react immediately. How do you not react immediately when you're moving in a very fast-paced life? It's your lifestyle already. You can't just think, oh, okay, I'm not just going to react. I'm not just going to react today, when you're always reacting to every single thing in milliseconds. If somebody says something, you've said two. If somebody sends you an email, you send a reply immediately. If somebody asks you this, before they even finished your question, you've already responded. Those are signs of a very fast nervous system. And then also, if you're under stress, your pace will be faster too, because your body is under stress. So it's prioritizing resources. It doesn't have time or the luxury to slow down. So it won't slow down. And so what I learned was that because my pace in life is generally slower, I talk slower, I move slower. My siblings, actually, Not just my siblings. My friends tease me about this too. They said, I walk like I'm the Queen of England because I walk slowly. I talk slowly. I take my time to do everything. So when something triggering happens, I'm also slow to respond. Do you see how that works? And this is not me doing something special. It's just because my pace is slower. So I have more time and restraint to respond. And that helps a lot. That helps a lot. So this step, slow down your pace in life. Slow down. Slow down the way you eat. Slow down the way you respond to emails. Slow down the way you respond to tasks. You don't have to respond every second because this is a lifestyle. Remember, the things that I teach you guys are things that will create a different kind of lifestyle. You will become a different kind of woman. And you can't fake this. You cannot. So it will affect everything that you do. That's why the women that are calm, quiet, collect, you guys say, oh, wow, they don't show emotions. It's not that they don't show emotions, they don't have emotions. It's just that their pace is slower so they can control themselves better. Think of it this way. A woman who's wearing high heels and walking like this, and a woman who's wearing high heels and walking like this, who do you think is going to be able to control her pace? The slower person. So try your best. Start to slow down your pace. If you are stressed out, you're going to struggle with this. Okay? So this is the work that I do. It's also helping women move out of the stress response so that you can actually slow down. Okay? That's how you start to use your body to live the life that you want. All right. And the final step here is really practicing affirmations that can help you manage your emotions. Things like, I am the kind of woman who manages her emotions. I am the kind of woman that understands how to be emotionally intelligent. Stop saying things like, I can't control my emotions. You're just programming yourself to do the same thing. I'm the kind of woman that can control. I say what I keep it real. You guys want to do a video on that? I just keep it real. Keeping it real. You can keep it real without actually acting like somebody that doesn't have control. You can keep it real with people without actually acting like someone who's in the ghetto. You can keep it real with people without actually acting like someone, especially in the workplace and at home. But you can keep it real without acting like someone that doesn't have decorum. You can keep it real. I'm having real conversations with you guys. I'm not coming here to, and saying I'm keeping it real. Even when I say things that are triggering, you guys know that I'm still able to say it in a way that you can receive it. And that's the key. So you can keep it real all day. I'm not asking, this doesn't mean, emotional intelligence doesn't mean you don't feel emotions. Because I feel like people confuse it. You feel it, I get triggered, but it's how do you manage yourself when that happens? How do you manage yourself? Okay? So practicing affirmations to keep you in the state that you actually want will help you, because that's a way of programming yourself. I feel like this video is, oh my gosh, this video is long. I'm trying to keep this video short. Oh, but when I talk about things that I love so much, oh my gosh, there's so many things I want to tell you guys about how to manage your emotions. Do we do a part 2? Okay, we'll do a part 2. Because there's a whole side that I haven't talked about that I want to mention, especially in how to prepare yourself to start managing your emotions. The things that I gave you today are the things you can start doing, but there are things to avoid as well. That's a whole different topic. The things to avoid so that you don't lose emotional intelligence. Yes, I'm going to do a video or a live for you guys on that. That's equally as important, because you get to a point where you become emotionally stable woman, and then you have these things, and then you don't know what to do with these things. So you need to be able to know how to manage those things when they show up. Okay? So I'm gonna end this live soon, you guys. I don't want it to be too long. No! One of my goals is to make my life shorter. No, to make the lives shorter, to make the videos shorter, so it's easier to consume. But we'll do a step 2. We'll do a part 2 maybe next week or so. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Announcement. So I am planning a strategic self-care workshop by the end of December for you guys. Okay, I'm still coming up with the content, and basically what it is for you to attend that workshop so that you have a plan on how you're going to live a life that is self-care driven next year. So that's the goal. So some of you have reached out to me to say, oh, Avi, is can you do this and stuff like that? Yes. Okay. So I'm putting it together. I'm still trying to come up with a concept. So take a chill. I'm coming up with it. Okay. Once it's ready, I'll put out the announcement and I'll talk a little bit more about it. But this is just a slight touch so that you know what's coming up for you. I always do the end of year self-care planning. Of course I do that. Of course I do that. But other than that, ladies, if you have any questions, feel free to put your comments, and I will see you when I see you. Bye.